The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
And good morning, Kern County. It is 5 a.m. on this Wednesday morning. I'm Alex Fisher alongside Tolly Anderson. Breaking news this morning, we are learning Pope Benedict is very sick. This morning, Pope Francis asked for prayers for the 95-year-old at the end of the general audience. Pope Benedict announced his resignation back in February 2013, saying he no longer had the physical and mental strength to run the church. He is the first pontiff in 600 years to step down. The Vatican released a statement just a few hours ago saying Pope Benedict's condition has worsened due to age in the last few hours. The statement also said the situation at present is under control and being monitored constantly by doctors.
And the Bakersfield Police Department isn't releasing more information about Saturday's deadly shootout in Southwest Bakersfield. And the coroner hasn't released the names of the two men who apparently killed each other. But relatives of one victim has identified him as a 30-year-old mixed martial arts fighter. His name is Tanner Marlowe. His cousin on a GoFundMe page described him as, quote, one of the sweetest, most caring men who loved his family to no end. Police say an estranged boyfriend forced his way into the woman's house on Snowdon Avenue at about 4 a.m. Saturday, and another man was already there. Both were armed. Police say that is when a gunfight both followed and each other shot one another. Marlowe was a mixed martial art athlete who fought under the name American Psycho. He's had 4 professional fights in the last 10 years. In May, Marlowe was named in a suit that alleged he was a bouncer at a Ming Avenue sports bar when he broke a customer's nose and ankle and caused head-face injuries. Now, there is no apparent GoFundMe or Facebook page for another man, and the woman involved has not been named yet either.
After spending years in a state mental hospital, a man accused of shooting at deputies during a 2018 standoff has been found competent to stand trial. Superior Court Judge Chad Louie yesterday reinstated attempted murder charges against John Wells and set a trial date in February. Wells was arrested April 1st, 2018 at a home on Atlantic Avenue in Shafter, following a standoff in which deputies say he opened fire in the direction of a SWAT team, which returned fire. No one was hit. Wells was found not competent back in 2018 and sent to a state hospital. He has pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity.
One person was gravely injured in a car crash in Southeast Bakersfield last night on South Union Avenue near Pacheco Road just after 9 p.m. last night. As you can see, the gray pickup truck ended up wrapped around a power pole. Now, according to CHP, at least one person in the truck suffered serious injuries. Frustration continues at the nation's airports as travelers remain stranded after airlines struggled to bounce back from winter weather. Southwest passengers are feeling the brunt of these backups. NBC's Bree Jackson is in Washington with more.
The travel chaos continues at airports nationwide.
Delayed, and then canceled. It's been stressful.
It's been pretty tough. Southwest was a mess.
Southwest Airlines is behind most of the backups, forcing some to scramble for rentals.
Oh, well, I've been here for 3 days.
If you're Southwest.
And a huge luggage nightmare. The company scrubbed 70% of its flight schedule on Monday, with plans to cancel over 2,000 flights daily Wednesday and Thursday.
We're doing everything we can to return to a normal operation. And please also hear that I'm truly sorry.
The CEO says the carrier took the worst hit, partly because weather impacted 2 major hubs in Chicago and Denver. But Southwest pilot and flight attendant unions say outdated scheduling software is also to blame.
Clearly, we need to double down on our already existing plans to upgrade systems.
Got passengers who can't get a hold of customer service. It's an unacceptable situation.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says he'll hold the airline accountable.
This has clearly crossed the line from what's an uncontrollable weather situation to something that is the airline's direct responsibility.
The holiday meltdown has travelers feeling stranded, enraged, and fed up.
I'm so happy to come back. I don't want to fly again. I'm scared too.
Southwest airline officials say they're optimistic flights will be back on track before next week. American and Delta Airlines have announced caps on their fares as a result of Southwest canceling flights. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson for NBC News.
2022 will be remembered for historic hearings inside the U.S. Capitol. Hearings that outline the events of January 6th and investigated what led to the deadly attack on our nation's capital. NBC's Katie Tour looks back at the January 6 hearings.
What happened on January 6, 2021 played live and unedited across all networks at the same time, meaning all of us saw the same thing. Trump mobs beating up police officers, vandalizing the U.S. Capitol, ransacking the floors of the Senate, free of political spin or reimagination. But that was then, and by 2022, the events of that day had gotten fuzzier, muddied up by partisanship. So the January 6th committee, made up of 7 Democrats and 2 prominent Republicans, made it their task to sharpen the country's memory and to prove who was to blame.
You'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong.
In 9 televised hearings, the January 6th committee set out to make their case.
President Trump summoned the mob, assembled the mob, and lit the flame of this attack.
Using recorded depositions from the people who were there. Donald Trump's own team.
There were suggestions by, I believe it was Mayor Giuliani, to go and declare victory and say that we won it outright.
It was far too early to be making any calls like that.
What they were proposing, I thought was nuts.
His own aides and his own advisors.
He said, dead people are voting. Indians are getting paid to vote. Told him flat out that much of the information he's getting is false.
His own cabinet members and his own family.
In that context, I made it clear I did not agree with the idea of saying the election was stolen and putting out this stuff, which I told the president was bull.
I respect Attorney General Barr. So I accepted what he was saying.
All describing what happened in their own words and making it clear that right from the beginning, Donald Trump was told the truth.
I thought, boy, if he really believes this stuff, he has, lost contact with he's become detached from reality.
But Donald Trump was so adamant about staying in power, the committee showed he would try to overturn the election.
The only way we're going to lose this election is if the election is rigged. Remember that.
He tried to do it through lawsuits. 61 cases lost, half thrown out.
And in no instance did a court find that the charges of fraud were real.
He tried to do it through pressure on the states, leaning on officials.
So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes.
There were no votes to find. That was an accurate count that had been certified.
I had told President Trump you would not do anything illegal for him.
I did, both times.
And spreading lies about individual election workers.
There is nowhere I feel safe. Nowhere. Do you know how it feels to have the President of the United States to target you?
When neither the states nor the courts would bend, he tried to do it through his DOJ.
He responded very quickly and said, what I'm just asking you to do is just say it was corrupt and leave the rest to me and the Republican congressman.
Demanding the election be declared a fraud, pushing to seize voting machines, and trying to install a loyal AG.
Did every assistant attorney general you spoke to, as you said, agree to resign?
All, without hesitation, said that they would resign.
With time running out, Trump tried his vice president, demanding he refuse to certify the election on January 6.
Mike Pence, I hope you're going to stand up for the good of our Constitution and for the good of our country. And if you're not, I'm going to be very disappointed in you. I will tell you right now.
And when Vice President Pence officially refused, the committee argued Trump tried to do it by unleashing his masses.
We're going to walk down and I'll be there with you.
In a protest, the panel said Trump knew would get out of hand.
The confidential informant from the Proud Boys told the FBI that the Proud Boys would have killed Mike Pence if given a chance.
I'm hearing reports that Pence caved. I'm telling you, if Pence caved, we're going to drag motherfuckers through the streets.
You heard it here first. Mike Pence has betrayed the United States of America. You Mike Pence!
I overheard the president say something to the effect of, I don't effing care that they have weapons. They're not here to hurt me. Take the effing mags away. Let my people in. They can march to the Capitol from here.
And even planned to join.
The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol." Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel.
Back at the White House, the committee showed how Donald Trump stayed silent, unmoved by the images of bloodied police, the gallows erected on the lawn, the pleas from Republican lawmakers to say something and do something.
Mr. President, you have got to stop this.
I heard my phone ringing, turned the shower off, saw it was Leader McCarthy, who I had a good relationship with. He told me it was getting really ugly over at the Capitol and said, please, anything you could do to help, I would appreciate it.
I've already talked to the president. I called them. I think we need to make a statement, make sure that we can calm individuals down.
Unmoved for 187 minutes until 4:17 p.m.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. I know how you feel. But go home and go home in peace.
In the end, Vice Chair Liz Cheney said President Trump knew the patriotism of his supporters, and he knew the loyalty he inspired. And he preyed on that loyalty, turning their love of country into a weapon against our Capitol and our Constitution.
What happens when the president disregards the court's rulings as illegitimate? When he disregards the rule of law? That, my fellow citizens, breaks our republic.
During the committee's final meeting, they unanimously voted to make 4 criminal referrals to the DOJ for the former president, inciting an insurrection, obstructing an official government proceeding, making false statements, and defrauding the United States. The investigation is now in the hands of Special Counsel Jack Smith.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.